Yep. Good evening, everyone. So, last session we learnt about how to bind all primitive data types. So, in React.js, s- presenting different types of data we learnt. And we understood, are there any changes in presenting data in JavaScript and React? Few changes, I explained what are those. And now today, we will see binding other data types. Last one we learnt is about symbol. So today we will see binding array type. So how we can bind array type and what are the options related to array. Generally in JavaScript you already learned the concept of array. In JavaScript array can handle different types of data. It is not just same type of data, it can manage different types of data. So here in React also, array declaration, array declaration and memory assignment is same as JavaScript. We have array meta character and we have array constructor. So in JavaScript, how you declare array, in the same way we declare array in our React also. Array can be declared using meta character or constructor. And you already learned what is difference between them. What is difference between meta character and constructor is array constructor will allocate a dynamic memory and meta character will allocate a static memory. That's basic thing you know. So here in React also the configuration is same. For example, let's see. So we are having a project and React demo app. So actually in data binding, let's remove this. Yeah. We have a simple data binding and we will start the project npm run dev and this is our data binding component. Here I want to create one array constant some products and we have set products is equal to use state and you can store data into array in two ways. You can use a meta character. In the meta character, we can store the data because you know array needs memory allocation. So we have a TV, some mobile like this. That is one technique. And another technique is we have another constant, some categories set categories is equal to use state. We can allocate memory using array constructor. Array constructor. So in this, you can define some data like suppose electronics, fashion like this. In JavaScript, you learned that array memory can be allocated using meta character or constructor. And you know the difference between them. Meta character will allocate a static memory and constructor will allocate it dynamic. So both ways you can use according to your requirement. Now, how to present array? In JavaScript, presenting array in UI is a lengthy concept. So much work we have to do. You already learnt how to read elements from array and present in UI. In JavaScript, it's a lengthy process. For example, see, suppose this is in your JavaScript, we are having some ordered list. So body onload, body load. Now I have a script function body load. I have some data. Suppose categories is array, some electronics and fashion. I want these categories to display in ordered list. These categories must be shown inside ordered list or they must be displayed in a drop down. Then generally in JavaScript, how to do that? It's a lengthy process. Actually in JavaScript, we have to read every item from array. To read every item from array, you learn different methods. We can use a loop or iterators. Different methods are there. I will give a list. Actually, what you do is suppose I am using for var category of categories. I am reading every category. For every category, we have to create a list item, li, because we need to add in OL. How to create a list item? Document dot create element li. After that, in that li inner HTML, we have to display what? Category. After that, add this into ordered list. Document dot query selector. Document dot query selector OL into ordered list. We have to append child li. Then you can see that this list is added into ordered list. The list is added into ordered list. That is generally in JavaScript you have to do. In JavaScript, if I have to add this list into dropdown, then the same technique. Into dropdown means we have to create a option. Am I right? Document dot create element. Which element? Option. Option will have a text. Option text is what? Category. We need to add this option into dropdown. Document query selector, which one? Select into that append child, which one? Option. And you can see it is added into the dropdown. This is the concept of how we read elements from array and how we present in JavaScript. This is the only way you have in JavaScript. And this is lengthy. Suppose we have to create a table. We have to create a list of checkboxes. We have to create a list of buttons. then very lengthy. This is now simplified in React. In React, reading, presenting will become little easy. Let's see how we can do this in React. This is your JavaScript. In JavaScript, arrays are presented like this. And this is the only way. That is the lengthy process we have to follow. Let's see how this will simplify in React. So let's go. Now I have products, TV and mobile. I want the products to display in an ordered list. Am I right? Here just put a binding expression. We have to put a binding expression in OL. Now here we have to read every item from array. How to read every item from array? I cannot use for of here because yesterday we learned JSX will not allow statements. Then how to read all elements from array? Without loop, without for each, for in, for while, do while, how we can read every elements from array? Actually, to read elements from array in JavaScript, you learned some methods. So I will show you here. Syntactically, see, we are using constant. One is what? Data is equal to use state. This is array. Suppose some 10, 20, 30 like this we are storing. Another way, constant data use state. I am using an array. Here some more rules are there, I will tell you. Some A, B, C, any type of data you can have. So how to read elements from array? You can read elements from array by using following methods. We can use for each. We can use map. We can use toString. So we can use slice. They are used for reading elements. But we have find, we have filter. All these are different methods available to read elements from array. But out of these, to read all elements, we have map and for each. ToString also. Map, for each, ToString, they are the array methods used to return all elements from array. Slice means between index. Find means it will return only the matching one. Only one it will return. Filter will return more than one. So to read all elements, we have three methods: for each, map and string. These methods can read all elements. But again, one problem is there. So can read all elements from array. These three can read all elements from array. So in interviews, they ask question like what is difference between map and for each, which it is a popular question in interviews. Array have map method and for each method, and both methods will work in a similar way. That means array you can read elements using for each and map. So for example, we want to read all elements from array. See, generally in the HTML page I will show you. This I just explained the point. You see, we have a script where data is present, array, some values are there. We want to read all of them. Then we can use data dot find data dot for each. For each uses a callback function which will read the value and index. And what it can do is it can return both index and value. So document dot write, if I want to print index and if I want to print the value, I will access like this. We are printing value and index. You can see for each is going to return all the values and their index 0, 1, 2. That means it is going to present the index like this I am using. Just roughly I am showing you. Here it is showing index and value. Actually, instead of for each, I can also use a method called map. Suppose I added one more 40. You can see map is also doing same. So to read all elements from an array in JavaScript, we have two methods. One is for each, another one map. Then in interviews, they ask what is difference between for each and map. Difference is for each is void type. Void type means it will read, but it will not return. It will just present. But we want to return so that they can be in memory and we can reuse it. Then map can return. What is difference between for each and map is for each is void and map is returning values. So in React, you have to use only map. You cannot use for each. That means to read all elements, obviously you cannot use for loop, while loop, do whiles. Why? Because statements are not allowed. Na? We have to use only methods. And methods also, so many methods are there, but React allows only map. So to read every element from array in React, see, what we do is here in our OL, here we have to use data. You see, we have products. Products dot what? Map. And this product map will read every product. Understood? Remember, you learned lambda arrow functions. So by using arrow, we have to return a list item. That means now what it is going to do is read every item from array, and for every item it will generate a list item and it will add this into OL. How many times it will repeat is how many items are there. And remember, inside the list item, we want to display this product. So we will use a binding and we will just access what is it? Product. And you can see it is going to present them. So this is more easy than JavaScript. In JavaScript, you have to create element. We have to set properties for element. Then we have to add element. And remember, here I am trying to use instead of map. Actually, this is value na. it will return both value as well as what? Index. If you want, you can print index also. I will put here, I want to print index. So that means I will write index. And you can see it is printing the index also. So we have map, and see now I am changing this from map to what? For each, because for each is also array method. And you see for each, it is not showing. Already we know that it is an void type. It will not return data, so you can't use it here. In JavaScript, it is possible. In JavaScript, even it is void type. Inside the function, we write a print statement to print every item. So it is possible. But in React, you cannot use it. You have to use only which method? Map. We have to use only the map method. Now it is going to print. Suppose I want to display in a drop down. Am I right? Same. Inside drop down, we have to create a binding expression. What is the products dot what? Map, read every product, and for every product we have to return which element? Option. What should be the option text? Option text should be product. Then it generates a drop down also with the same. Any item you can generate like this. So how to present in React? So React can read and present array elements only by using map. So the question, what is difference between map and for each? So for each is void type and will not return data. Map is an iterator that returns an array of elements that returns an array of elements. So that is difference. For each will work for every element, but it will not return element. Map will work for every element by returning that element. So reading elements from array and presenting them. Important here is, as I showed you, one more point is there. When you are reading, I am just using only one. When I am reading and presenting elements, now you will get one error in the console. Actually, what is error is, so this map is repeating this list item. How many times it repeats? It depends on how many elements are inside arena. Now React problem is, if one element is duplicated, then it says I can't identify uniquely these elements. React says React will present, but technically it says that there is no unique identification for this repeating. Then later, if I have to delete anyone or add anyone in between, I don't know their positions. That means you observe carefully here, it will show one error. Error is nothing but it says that any repeating element should have a unique key. Any repeating element should have a unique key. So you see, output looks okay. But when I go here and inspect, you see in the console, we have a warning. And two warnings are there. It says that each child in a list should have a unique key. So what you have to do is, which element is repeating, this element li, it should have a key. And what should be the key? A unique identification. Generally, many times developers use index. That means here also key. Key is what? Index. That means first element it is 0, 1, 2, 3 unique na. So you see it is working fine. There is no problem here. What is it? It is index here index is not there. Huh? Index must be there in both places. Huh? Okay. I'm using index in both places. Now you see there is no problem. It is working. But according to the real-time programming standards, we should not use index as key. Many people have an habit of doing that. That means in real-time projects also we see many people using index. I showed you PMD na. You remember na? PMD is a code analyzer. According to code analyzers, in React.js especially, you should not use index as unique keys. Index should not be used as unique keys. They will work, but always better use some unique identification, not index. Unique identification means if every product have an ID, use it ID. As of now, we don't have so ID, so better not to use index. You can use index. If it is not having index, you can use product itself as unique key. Understood? The product name itself you can use as unique. But later it will create issue if you have same items. Huh? That is the reason if you are dealing with complex data, then every complex data will have a primary key. Na? That primary key will be used as key. So what is rule in our React is syntax I will give here first. So we have to data.map and read every item and create some li and display item. Every repeating every repeating element in list must have a unique key property. Avoid using index as key. It is not good according to programming standards. Then what to do? You have data.map, item, li, have a key and item. We are reading every item and generating element. So while dealing with index arrays, always use map method. And remember, this is a simple array. Later we will see little complex arrays. Because in array there can be again array and objects. Na? So as of now, a simple array we are looking at. And presentation, it completely depends on your skills of HTML and CSS. For example, see, I will show you some concept here. Suppose we are having some websites like Amazon. In Amazon, you can see they have a menu items here. Those menu items will be changing very frequently. It's not a fixed menu. That means every few days that menu is changing. Some new items will be adding, order will be changing. That means this is a list which is coming from some array. They presented like a nav bar, right? For example, if you see some like Book My Show or Inox movies, you can see here the movie names. This is not fixed. This is also changing na. Every few days new one will come. So this is also coming from an array. Remember, these posters also not fixed. And these posters, they don't design directly here. They don't directly design here. They will keep in an array and they present here. If later in database they change the photo and it will automatically update. Let's see how these are done. For that, we need complex data also, right? Let's see. For example, see, I'm trying to present some data. Here the question is how you can present in an effective way. Let's see. I will create here a simple constant. This is, suppose we have a menu. These are menu items is equal to use state and it is an array. In that we have home, some offers, so some shop, some contact services, like this we have some. Now what is our requirement is they asked us to design these in a nav bar, design a nav bar with them. So see what I am doing here. In HTML, I will create one header. Am I right? Inside the header, I am creating a span. Suppose class BI and BI justify, that is bootstrap icon. Another span, suppose Amazon I am giving. Actually, it is going to show the list like this. This is Amazon. And in the header, I am giving padding to margin top 2. So you can see this is one small space we are having. Now I am using here some class mx2, some gap will come. And what we want is beside that Amazon, all the menu items should come. That means what we do is here we will create a simple nav area. You know, HTML have nav. Inside the nav, we want to get data from array. So how to read menu items dot what map read every item. For every item, we want to create a span. In the span, you need a key. I will put an item and value also item. That means it is going to create a span everything. And observe here, every span will have a class. MX is 4 or 3, then it will display some gap. And this header, we will keep bootstrap deflex justify content between, and it will give the items like this. So actually, this I will keep both in one div and it will display like this. Understood? Suppose in between we are having another division. You know, it is an div. Here we have input type is text. So, and here we have some placeholder like search Amazon, and we have a button class BTN and BTN warning and BI search. And you can see this, I will keep it as input group, and here I will put as class form control. And you can see it is having a search bar there. I will give here align items center BG light, and you can see it will display in this way. That means this is having some static data and some dynamic data. What is static data here? Brand name, search bar, these are static. What are dynamic here? Home, offer, menu items are dynamic. They are changing because they depend on arena. For example, what we do into the array, suppose we are so defining some sale, then automatically it will update there. Whatever modifications you do, it updates. And remember, this is just only one presentation. Like this, so many. Some websites want as a vertical bar. For example, see, suppose I am having again a section. In the section, what I am doing, some class margin top is 3. Okay. Here we are using an ordered list or unordered list. And here the unordered list is having a class called list group. And here we will put a simple list group. W25 is the width. We need to read every item from menu items dot what map read every item, and for every item generate a li, and li should have a key. And don't forget about the keys everywhere. Right, everywhere key, and here we need value na. So value is what item, and for this we will put a class name as list group item, and we have list group item suppose danger or some color, and you can see a list group will display like this. That means it will display elements like this. Suppose uh, some websites they want these buttons like buttons, or they want like checkbox. They say that I want to give a checkbox for all these, user can select checkbox, radios, buttons, anything you can generate. So, for example, if I want to generate a checkbox for every item, now you tell me how to do that. Suppose I am giving UL again, okay, and class I will give list style as none, list unstyled. Unstyled means it will not put any symbols or numbering. Now here we need to generate menu items dot what map. Read every item, and for every item we need an list item. Key is what item. In this item we want a checkbox. That means we have to use input type as what checkbox. And you know checkbox can have a label. This label will have the item name, will have a item name, and you can see it is going to display every item in a checkbox. I'm just adding, suppose just for understanding. So here means just for space, ms is 4, that means left margin 4 I'm using like this. These are all checkbox. Buttons, links, checkboxes, list, anything you can generate dynamically using. I think you can generate drop down also for this, right? I just showed you select na. We can create an option and we can display. So reading is not just important, presenting also important. And presenting can be done with good HTML skills, because which class you should apply, which one to iterate, where to display, all these are important. That is not reacting, that is a general HTML thing. So which item to repeat, which class to apply, how the appearance can be, that all decided by using your HTML skills. This is just one basic example. I will copy this example for your reference sake, and I will keep this example. So here, this is the component name is data binding dot what JSX. That is the component. The just code I am giving to you for your verification. Now, important here, one more concept is all array manipulations are same. All array manipulations are same as in JavaScript. That means you learn different array methods na, all are same. So like pop, so we have shift, we have splice, we have push, unshift, like slice, so like index of, am I right? So all these array related methods manipulations are same. What else you learned? Some sort also na, sort, reverse, these are all array methods, all are same. In JavaScript, whatever array manipulations you learned methods, they are all same used here. Those we will put in examples later. So is there any change dealing with array? Yes, the change is in presentation. Earlier in JavaScript, lengthy you have to write. Now imagine if you have to create a navbar like using JavaScript, it's very complex. You have to create a span, you have to add text to span, and you need to append that into navbar. Generally we do that, but now it's simple and easy to handle. So All these comes under array manipulation. And this is a simple array how we can read and use it. Okay. So I hope everyone understood. Writing array, storing data, reading and presenting. Later in examples, we will use them. Manipulations, copying, sorting, filtering, everything we will do that. Okay. Okay. Next, after understanding array, in the data types, you have in data type, we have an binding object type. Binding object type. There is no change here. Object keeps all relative data and logic together. And JavaScript object with the data is considered as, considered as JSON, JavaScript object notation. So it is a key and value collection. It is a key and value collection. So handling object in React is same like JavaScript. Actually, how you configure an object. So, constant product, some set product is equal to use state. Object is designed in a block, right? It have ID, some name, some price, like this. We can have any type of data. Data in object can be any type. And how do we access and present them? Product dot name. Am I right? We can access with reference of key. So object name and key name. We can access and we can present. And in a key, you can store any type of data. You can have again array inside. You can have an object in object. So presenting complex data through object and reading and using the data. So that's a simple process here. For example, see now, suppose I will use again this, means I'm just doing everything in one file because later we will design examples. Okay, let's put here constant product set product is equal to use state and object is defined in a block. We have an ID, we have some name, some price. Suppose we are having cities, which is an array. In that we have some Delhi and Hyderabad, like this. And we are having rating. Rating is again object. Object inside object. You worked with this type of data. Rating have rate some 4.3 count. It is from 6,000. This is the data we are having. and we want to present this data here. So I am trying to present product details. Product details. So I will use a data list, data term. Here one is product ID, and how to get the ID and show here. We have to just access product dot what ID. Then we have name. We have to access product dot name, and we have price. And so price is a number, product dot price. I want to display in a currency form. Then to local string en hyphen in, and we put a style. Which one? Currency style is INR, like this. Now we have another one, shipped to. Shipped to is a cities list. I want to display the cities list in an ordered list. OL. In that we need to read all the cities in product. Then what we have to do? Binding expression. What is it? Product dot what? Cities. Cities is an arena. We have to use a map. Read every city, and for every city we have a list item with a key as city. Value is also city, like this. Then you can see it displays the data. The product ID, name, price, shipped to. Suppose it is having rating also. That means in the data term rating, I will give data definition. Here I want to display rating, product dot rating dot rate, and I will put a span bi star fill, and text success. And you can see how many people rated in a square brace. We will put product dot rating dot what count, and it will show like this. How many people rated? Understood? That means it is displaying how many people rated. How you display these details, your wish. Just I will put class margin S4, just shift and show you. That's the data we have. So object same like your JavaScript. Generally, this is how you store data in JavaScript objects, and this is how we access and present. Here also same. There is no change. Okay. Presenting array of objects is different. This is same. There is no change. And important, all object manipulations are same, using following operators and methods. All object manipulations are same using operators and methods. So here you see all operators and methods are similar. That means actually you learned while working with JavaScript object, reading all keys from object. How you can do? In JavaScript, how to read all keys from an object? By using object dot keys. By using object dot keys you can do, or by using for in. We can use for in, or by using object dot keys. Deleting a key. How you can delete a key? By using delete operator. By using delete operator, you can delete a key. delete and object dot key name. The key will be deleted. So find a key. To find a key, we have to use key with in operator in object. Actually, this is going to return true. If key is available in object, it returns true. These are all object manipulations. Reading keys, removing keys, finding whether a key present or not. One more, yesterday we discussed hiding a key. Remember that? Hiding a key. How to hide a key? So by using which data type? Symbol. Symbol data type. By using symbol data type. So these are all JavaScript object manipulations. Huh? You may have to use them in various examples when dealing with objects. So in React, reading data from object and presenting is not any different. It is a simple one. Okay. Now, all these manipulations you will see later in examples because these are all JavaScript points only. Now, after knowing how to bind an object, little bit complex data comes. That is binding array of objects. Binding array of objects. Array is a collection. And array collection can have object type elements. Every object is a key and value collection. Every object is a key and value collection. So generally, how array of objects are defined is constant data, use state. It is an array of objects. Am I right? Like this, you can have many. Every object will have a key and a value. That means at index 0, one object, index 1, another object. This is an array of objects. In reality, data is actually like this. As of now, I am showing you some data directly written inside the code file. But in the next level, we will bring data from real APIs, from backend databases, how to get the data, use them. We will see that. Let's see how this data is done. Remember, again, I told you na presentation is depending on requirement. I will show simple complex presentations here how they done. See, suppose we are having, this is previous example. This is related to object. Am I right? This is same component, data binding. Okay. Now let's see little bit complex data. Means how the data actually works with little complex. For example, I will create here constant products is equal to use state. And for your clarity's sake, in this I will put in multiple lines. It's an array. Am I right? Array of what? Objects. And in this, we have a name, we have price. Just simple I will give first. Another object name, and we have some price. So here we have some another name, and suppose I am giving some name. Now I have some price. Okay. Now what is the requirement here is I want to present these products in a table. I want to present these products in a tabular form. That means actually in real time databases, data is in a tabular form. So fields, values will be there. Actual data will come like this to us. Now this I want to present in a table. So let's see here. I am designing products table. Okay. In this, we will design a table. You know, table can have a class table and table hover. That is bootstrap class. Table have t head, table header in the tr and th. First one is name, another one is price. Now what I want is I want to generate a row for every record inside table body na, right? So let's go into the table. We will add t body. Okay. In the table body, we need to generate a row for every record inside this products. Am I right? Okay. Now how to read? We put a binding expression. What is the data? Products. How to read? Read every. For every product, what should I generate? In a table body, you cannot present data directly. We need to present data in a TR. In a TR, we need TD na, right? Not directly TD. So here we need to generate. So we need to generate TR. Okay, this row is repeating. So it should have a key. What is it? Product. Actually better use if product have an ID, better use it. But product is not having ID. Just roughly I will put an ID 1, am I right? And ID 2 and ID 3. And I don't want to show ID, just I will use ID here as key product.id. Now in the row, how many cells we need? TD, first cell. In first cell, what to display? Product name, because heading has only two na. So here we need to display product dot another cell. What to display? Product dot price. So that is done. And you can see the table is ready. Same thing if you have to do this in JavaScript, then you will literally cry. Like, sir, what task you given? This is a huge task. But in JavaScript to do this, we can do, but lengthy. So you want to see how it is done in JavaScript, huh? Right? See, suppose if you want to deal with this same in JavaScript, let's see how much complex it is. So suppose this is in JavaScript, we have a table. Table have a border and table have width and 100%. Okay. Table have heading TR, TH, same. One is name, another one price. In T body, we have to generate rows. Huh? You see now, I will write body on load, body load. On body load, we will write a script function. So body load. On body load, we have actually products. That is the data I copied. It is an array. Right. Now what we have to do? Products dot what? Map. We have to read every product. For every product, we have to create a tr. Document dot create element. What is it? Tr. After that, I need to create three cells. Two cells, huh? Yes. Where td name. How to create a cell? Document create element td. Another cell td document dot create element. Create element is td. Two cells created. What should be td inner html? Td name inner html. It should have product name na. So what should be td price inner html? Product dot price. Where to add these two table cells into tr na? Tr dot append child. First one tr dot append child. Which one? Price. Now this row must be appended into table body. Document dot tbody. Tbody dot what? Append child. Which one? Tr. And let's run this and see here. This is actually through HTML JavaScript. That means through JavaScript, if I have to generate a table this much complex, that means I have to create every element and I have to do. Now, if it is more complex data, it is more complicated. I am just showing only two fields. You know, in real world projects, how much data will be there, right? And in JavaScript, this is the only way how we generate the data. And React simplifies this. In React, just only one line. Na? Am I right? For clarity, I break these into three. And more modifications like C, T, D, TH, suppose actions. And you can see all cells are dynamically having data, but last cell, here I will put button, BTN, BTN warning, BI pen, BI pen fill something. And we have another button, class BTN suppose danger, BI trash fill, and some MX is 2. And you can see actually I added one row additionally here. You can see this is our data. That means we have to make them work in future. When they click on it, it should open in edit mode. When I click on it, it should delete. We must add sorting. That means, you know, here in the header, in the header, suppose we have a span class BI sort alpha down. Here also we are having span BI sort alpha down. And you can see there is symbol sorting. We can create menu items, we can design. So presenting complex data is important. And remember, every time it is not asked like table. So you can present data like this now. Suppose you have seen in Inox movies. You see this is the movies data now, right? Actually, this all data is coming from an array of objects. From an array of objects. Not only that, for example, you see Flipkart. In the Flipkart, you select mobiles. You go to any mobile category and observe carefully. Here, mobiles related data. This type of data is coming from array of objects. Now, actually, real-time data means this much complex. We can try designing this. That means how to store the data, how to read and present this type of data we will see. For that, we will learn about complex data binding. That we'll see in next session. Right? Tomorrow we will try designing like this. Complex data. Okay? Tomorrow we'll continue.